Hey everybody, what is going on and how y'all doing out there in Atlanta Bird Gang land and also on Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube? Yeah, I am back. Yes, I went to the game. Yes, had to resuscitate me 2 times during the game, but you know what? I am so excited. What a game, folks. What a game. And too many times we're on the other side of that. And I never try to make it a habit of telling people how to be a fan. But I tell you, man, if you don't, if you didn't get joy out of that game at the end, I just don't know what to do with you and stuff. This is your Uncle Steve here in Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Thank you for joining me as always. I want to give a special shout out. Got to hang out with my brother Alberto from 95 North. Came in, hung out with me and the family. We had a great uh, had a great time today. And as you all know, during the game, we had the ups, we had the downs, we had the good plays, we had the bad plays. But at the end of the day, folks, we came out on top. And again, I try to think about how many times in the past we are on the other side of that. And look, in a nutshell, plenty to clean up. But at the end of the day, when Younghoe Koo split the uprights and got the win, man, that's all that matters right now. And right now, our Atlanta Falcons are 4-4, sitting atop the NFC South. Yes, I know we still got 2.5 more months to play. I get all of that. But you know what? It's been a while. So I'm going to enjoy the time we have now talking about our Atlanta Falcons. Chiming in, what's going on, Sheehan? How you doing? The Dixon Way. Y'all check it out, man. I know he was probably, I just got in, Sheehan, so I haven't had a chance to look at anything today. But, brother, I'm sure you were all over it as far as the reaction. As a matter of fact, I almost can't wait to see your reaction on that last that last catch of DJ Moore. DJ Moore, who we're going to get to in a second, too. Who is this? Darius Stark says, I had about 4 heart attacks, brother. I'm trying to tell you, man, that was one of those games that tests you as a fan. It really did. I mean, and we'll go through a couple of the plays that really got you in that place a few minutes ago, but that was just really awesome. My brother Philip in the house. Philip say, great fight, great win. Number one feels good, rides up. And it always does. When you win the game, man, and look, when you can overcome adversity 2 times in the same game and still have the wherewithal to win, that's what it's all about, man. And I know, listen, I know there are the muckety mucks that are going to talk about, oh, we should have thrown the ball this way and all this, and we should have done that. And I get you. And trust me, we lose the game. Absolutely, I get it. But you know what? We won. So I got the 24-hour rule, man, and I'm pulling out all the celebration songs and all the things we got, folks. We won the game. And that's 3 straight at the Benz, man. 3 straight after that ugly start with New Orleans. We should be 4 straight, but you'll take it a little bit at a time. But that's just crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. So Darius says, my blood pressure is back to normal. Darius, I'm trying to tell you, brother, dude, the look, the feel of that DJ Moore catch, I mean, it was almost like something grabbed your soul and said, not again, not again. But the last 4 years we've been on the other side where when that happens, it's all over with. Man, this team, I'm telling you, man, folks, we are playing basically 4th string people on our secondary right now. We made a bad quarterback look good. And I say bad. PJ Walker's in the NFL, so he's not trash. But some of those, couple of those throws earlier were kind of suspect. I will say that throw to DJ was really, really nice. And if I was on a neutral fan, I'd be like, oh man, he's something else. RJ says, I passed out twice. Join the club, brother. It was something else. Norman's in the house. It was a thriller up. Darius says blood pressure high for me. It is, man. But again, to get the payoff in the end and to see those players dejected and to come back and dejected and to come back, it's just beautiful. Lisa says my heart rate just normalized. Jeez Louise, that game was wild. And I mean, give the crowd a lot of credit, folks, because I don't know. Carolina definitely didn't travel like Cleveland and San Francisco in there. But I'm telling you, when they told the crowd to get loud, the crowd got loud. And good, I give a heads up to the crowd for keeping those guys in it, man, because they needed it. They needed it. PJ said, hell yeah, enjoy the moment. You got to. Then, again, did we make a whole lot of mistakes that should have led to a loss? Absolutely. But when I'm driving home and I'm seeing, listening on the radio, watching the people come down the street, folks, you got to enjoy it, man. Got to enjoy it. Brother Sheehan says, Brother Steven, me and the wife was going crazy during that game. We had like 40 people watching and everybody was losing their minds. We said, how did our perch atop the division? Again, y'all, do like I'm going to do later on and turn on the Dixon Way as he does a live reaction show. I can't wait to see whether you threw your head through the wall on that DJ Moore catch. J-Dot's in the house saying, I wouldn't call it a steal. We should have ended that game in the third quarter. The only reason I put steal up there at the end, J-Dot, is because you actually, the defense was actually doing pretty well up until that end of the fourth quarter. We really were. And then, maybe the guys got tired. Maybe the guys is not used to being in there. I don't know. But steal is just a word, man. I'm not taking it totally seriously. Timothy says, hey, Uncle Steve, I'll take it. I'm in recovery. This game took me there. It's so funny. The real fans are really talking about this roller coaster of emotion, man. It's real. It's real. When you go through that, and we're at that stadium, man, and you see the emotion on those faces. When you see DJ Moore, and I'm gonna tell you what, man, DJ Moore, as great of a catch as that was, I know the poor little the poor little kicker, Pinheiro, or whatever his name is, that missed the extra point and the field goal. DJ Moore caused that. DJ Moore gave us the opportunity, because when he took his helmet off, the first thing I was thinking was, oh, that's got to be a penalty. And the guy did throw it. And of course, you're in your emotions and everything like that. And I don't blame him for that. But as soon as I saw him line up for a 48-yard extra point, something told me, man, that's just a lot of pressure now. And that thing pushed off to the right, man, and I jumped up so high. That was just so awesome. Lisa says, when the defense gave up that 60-yard pass play, I could truly say I was in my feelings. Silence over where we were. Silence with the Falcon fans. It was just, oh, my goodness. PJ says, yo, DJ and the kicker walking back to Charlotte. And I hope people give, the proper blame, if they want to, for those moments. DJ Moore cost his team. You got to be in the moment. And I understand that was an exciting moment. But you got to get out the end zone that you can't take the helmet off. He thought he was having a Stephon Diggs moment against New Orleans when Stephon won the game with no time left. That's the difference. It was no time left. You thought you had that moment, so you were going to show off. And it turned out that you helped to blow it for the team. Yeah, it would be nice if the field goal kicker could kick it, but DJ Moore, this is squarely on you. I would love to go back and see the post game with DJ Moore and see if he actually takes ownership of that. Because that blew his game. You weren't thinking about the team. You were thinking about yourself in that moment. And when you thought about yourself, that cost 15 yards and consequence and a bad turnover in overtime and all of that, you cost your team the win. Brother Michael, what's going on? Ugly as you can get, but I'll take it, man. Mike, how many times, Mike, are we on the other side of ugly wins by other teams? I'm not making any. And just like you said, man, I could care less. I really could. We won the game. We won the game. That's all that matters. Lisa says we have to thank the Carolina kicker for keeping us in it. Appreciate it. He looks so dejected. He looks so sad. It'll be interesting to see if they hold on to him after that. Those were two huge. Again, Carolina wins the game. They're in first place in NFC South. Now they're 2 games back and a tiebreak with us. So that was a huge loss. I'm trying to see who this is right here. Unfortunately, I can't see over here on the other side. We need to make adjustments and on those 3rd and longs. Yeah, and if you notice, most of those 3rd and longs were killing us directly in the middle. But I also have to remind everybody, again, it's no excuses. Just like we gave San Francisco no excuses for coming in. I got you, Double A. Just like we gave no excuses for that. We can't, man. We can't. No excuses whatsoever. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to bring my buddy Alberto in here to talk to us because he was there live with me. And we're going to bring him in. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. There you go. All right, let me switch this over to you. Go back to Shin. Shin says, forget the naysayers. We won the game, so that is what matters. This was one of my books. I counted, but to be honest, Stephen, I'm trying to go rock now. Forget what I did in my head in the preseason. And I'll tell you another thing. When the beginning of the year started, my son, he predicted that the Falcons would lose 14 games. And I had to remind him today that wasn't going to come true, that since we won our 4th game. And if it makes anybody feel better, you all made a pretty nice size wager that the Falcons would go over. Vegas had us at the time in June. Vegas had us at 4.5 wins. So I need one more win to cash in, if you want to say that. Facebook user says, "Thank God for cool." And my wife was sitting next to me during those last couple of times, and she told me every time, she said, "Koo is the most consistent person on our team." And yes, Koo has had a couple of bad moments. He's had a couple of bad moments, but Koo is absolutely the most consistent person on our team on here. Let me bring in my brother, man. Look, it is an honor to bring in my brother Alberto. He is on 95 North Sports Talk on YouTube. And I've been going at it for about 5 minutes, brother. First, thank you for joining us, man. Our family thoroughly enjoyed you today. And it's funny because this is our first time meeting in person. Right. And as fans, you know how you're that guy that sometimes when it gets to the white knuckle moments. Oh, yeah. And look, he was sitting behind me, right? Oh, man. So by the time the 4th quarter came, my wife said, I need him to sit over here with you because we both kind of are going through the game at the same moment, man. Tell the folks how you felt at this game, brother. At the end, through the middle. Just talk to him, man.
Man, it was, first of all, it was an amazing experience. I owe it all to you. I thank you very much, man. You guys welcomed us with open arms, and it was truly an honor. You know, it may be cliche to say a typical Falcons game, but that's what it felt like. You know, with so much up and down. Oh man, it was just a roller coaster. But I'll tell you one thing: the team stuck in there. This young secondary was tested a lot today. You know,
Yes.
you had guys like Tommy Tremble and Terrence Marshall Jr. and DJ Moore just carving it up, so to say. Not to mention Foreman. You know, we couldn't stop him, and he really went against a top rated run defense that we have, and he gutted us, man. And it was,
118.
118
for
for
3
three
touchdowns.
TDs. Unbelievable,
Goodness.
unbelievable stats. But I'm proud of the team because they hung in. They
Mhm.
hung in. When it felt like adversity was going to pile in on us, we found a way to make plays and get out of certain situations. I mean, hey, Panthers helped out too because the kicker really didn't do them no justice neither, missing 2 would-be go-aheads and potential game winner.
Woo!
So man, but yeah, it was a great atmosphere from start to finish. Yeah, just oh man,
Yeah.
I'm still reliving it, man. I'm still going
I,
through it, man. I'm like,
I,
wow, man. I
I,
was born
I'm,
alive for
tell,
that.
I'm telling anybody who wants to listen to me, if you would have seen Alberto we before when we were about to lose that
Oh
game,
man.
I promise you, he looked like he wanted to punch the little wall that was in front of us
Oh, brother, nothing
when we
was
were
safe,
talking. But
man.
I think everybody felt that way. I think we
Right.
all got quiet. Let me ask you a question that I just brought up to a couple of other people.
Yep.
DJ Moore in the 15-yard penalty in the end
Yes.
zone and I know we were too ticked off in the moment because
Right.
he caught it. How big is that
That
you made a routine 35-yard field goal to almost a 50-yard extra point to lose that game?
Man, so obviously, you make such a big play like he did. That was a game changing moment right there. Obviously, the would be potential game winning touchdown. You have to learn how to channel your emotions and do that on your side of the field,
Right.
and express that with your brothers on the outs, on your sideline. Doing
Absolutely.
that, hey, and listen, it helped us. I'll take credit for what it is. I'll take that knucklehead move for what it is. You know what I'm saying? And we'll roll with that. But definitely, even if it was somebody from Atlanta, we would probably put him through the grinder. Like, how could you do something like that? You should know better as a
Right.
professional. But yeah, that really dictated to them what their outcome was going to be because you can sense that some of the air was taken right out of the team once that penalty came about. um, Momentum was shifting, even though it was as late as it was, but there was some sort of switch in energy, man, and we were allowed that second opportunity, that second chance to come through, man.
I and obviously, again, we were too invested in the game to
Yeah,
probably be looking at stats and stuff like that.
yeah,
Let's talk about. I mean, I know people are going to say it because you had good Mariota, bad Mariota. Let's
yeah,
go over his numbers: 20 for 28, 253 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 critical interceptions,
yes.
um, a rating of 105. But a very critical play in overtime to get us in
Ooh,
field goal range. Where's your mood as far as Mariota concerned? And not even from a benching him for Ritter and all of
yeah.
that stuff, but what's your mood with Marcus?
It's man. I'm balanced, because I kind of know what to expect from him now.
Right.
8 games in, seven or 8 games in, I know what to expect. He'll have a good one, and then he'll turn in a not so well performance. This one was a pretty decent performance. He managed the ball well. Those ints like you spoke about. The first one, I was vested in it so much. I didn't even see Dante Jackson intercept that ball. To be honest with you,
I
man.
didn't. I didn't. I remember you told me when
Yeah,
it happened, and I was like,
yeah.
and you were like, he intercepted that ball.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, I saw the reaction. I'm like, all right, okay, Demir Bird made something happen, but no, he came up with that. But Definitely any INT is inexcusable at any point, because every drive, every moment that you have the ball is critical. You got to make the most of it, to keep your team, going ahead or dictating the pace of the game. But today with Mariota, he showed grit, he showed toughness. That fourth quarter run or that overtime run, really, he showed some balls. Excuse my language in that one, because it would look like it would have been a would-be sack. Man, he turned that into positive and very positive yardage to seal the game.
Think if he would have just sulked over there on the sideline about the interception that you just took, and then your mentality. You have to give him credit to come back. Not only come back, made a critical throw in that same drive right before the big run. You have to erase that stuff and throw it in. And I'm telling you, the excitement when he was coming down that sideline, I actually thought he was going to score when he was coming down.
I was praying to God he was, man, because he took off, man. He took off. Not something that we like to see all the time. And then again, because of the injury history and stuff like that. But at this moment in time, it was needed. We needed our playmakers to come in big, and he showed to be one of them, man. And I couldn't be happy.
We don't win the game without it, brother.
No, we don't. That's true.
This is a comment, and I'm going through the comments, everybody. So don't feel like I'm leaving you out. I see you, Charles. I see you, Daniel, Twan, Rusty. I've been going through them because I figured we have a lot of traction on here because of the magnitude of the win. David, though, I saw this and it kind of sums it up. Steele is right. We did not deserve to win this game. Excuse me. This team is toxic. But I love the fight in this team. It's a never say die attitude and mental toughness we have thanks to Coach Smith. To me, that encapsulates probably how a lot of hardcore Atlanta fans feel, because, dude, this game had two opportunities for us to walk out with our heads down, and fate dealt us the extra card. Just like 2 years ago, fate dealt Dallas an extra card, and Chicago an extra card, and of course the game in Houston in 2017 an extra card. Now the mental toughness of this team lets them know it's not over till it's over. How do you feel about this statement?
Yeah, I love it. I can't disagree with it. The only thing is the toxic thing, man. That's a little tough, man. I wouldn't call it toxic. It's just, oh man, I couldn't even come up with a word for one. But definitely, the fight in this team is definitely showing. And Coach Smith, week in and week out, man, he's really adjusting to the cards that are dealt. We played today with a less than 100% secondary. We have so many reserves in, and for the team to stay in and fight the way that they did, man, is really, really impressive, man. And that just, that goes on to the coaches. They're having these guys buy into the system and buy into what they're selling, man.
Right. It's amazing, man. Marcus says, I never left the game. I stayed the entire time. Did you stay the whole game? Trust me, we stayed the whole game. Oh, we did not leave. Trust me. We left it. We were there early. We stayed through everything, and we lived through every moment. Trust me. It was really, really crazy out there. Give me your thoughts on the defense. You said it earlier, and I want people to realize I'm not making excuses. If you put on the Atlanta Falcons uniform, you're expected to play to a certain level during the game. Mm-hmm. But let's keep it real. We got second and third string and practice squad folks out there right now because we're so banged up. Mm-hmm. What's your overall thought of how the secondary performed today? And of course, everybody's going to point to the DJ Moore catch in the end zone. But what's your thoughts on how the secondary showed up today?
Good learning experience. I mean, for last week's, debacle with Jamar Chase, with that trio just ate us up alive. But moving forward from that game to this game, it's a good experience for Cornell Armstrong, Darren Hall, Mike Ford, Dean Marlon, all those guys to get this experience because we don't know how long AJ Terrell is going to be out for. They call it week to week, so it's good that they get this experience. I think they did pretty good today. I mean, they did keep DJ Moore in check up until maybe the third quarter.
Yes,
and that's where Carolina started exploiting the middle, that gosh darn middle.
Oh, don't
every third down, it was third and long. PJ Walker knew to go right to the middle. And,
we were calling it.
Yeah, we were calling it as we were there. But overall, they did okay. I can't slam them anymore. Cornell Armstrong got tested a couple times, even on the side that we were, and you could just tell with those past breakups that he had, his confidence was growing. So
right.
that was positive to see. But overall, I give him probably like a C as a grade overall.
I saw Shin put this up. Huntley should get more burn. Needs to get more burn. Pun is intended. He's looking like Michael Turner. I think we underestimated 16 carries, 91 yards, 5.7 yard average. Algier, I mean, he did. Obviously, he caught the little swing pass touchdown. Don't get me wrong. That was nice. 14 carries, 39 yards, a little bit behind. Still ran the ball for 167. We can't listen. I don't care if we've discovered him late or not. Huntley is a guy, and we talked about it, I think, at the game. He falls forward 4 yards every time he gets the ball. What's your thought about possibly moving him up a little bit in this rotation?
In the rotation, I agree 100%, and here's why. I think it's all in the vision. He has a much better vision than what Tyler Algier brings to the table. Caleb Huntley sees the field better. Like there were certain run fits where Algier could have bounced it outside for some massive gains that I know if Huntley was there, it would have been had. And Huntley, like you mentioned, anytime he runs, he's falling forward 3 and 4 yards. So I like him as a runner. He's a thumper. He's downhill with speed. So yeah, I believe he should be getting more burn in this offense and use Tyler Algier as more as the third down back or that back that comes out of the backfield, because as we saw today, he took a quick little swing pass for the touchdown, 25 yards. That's a positive.
Absolutely. This might be one of my favorite comments right here. Clayton says, I'm on my 5th blunt since the game. I can stop the comment right there, but he finished up. Thank you, Panthers kicker. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Mariota. Happy birthday. Thank you, Smith, except in the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. Thank you, defense, for looking better than last week. Walker and Carter. Thank you, wide receiver corps, for making clutch catches and run. Thank you, Koo. Thank you for number 1 in the division. I want to go back to Lorenzo Carter, man. And that was basically right in front of us when that happened.
That INT.
Dude, thank you, Giants, for casting him off and bringing him to this defense. And it could be somebody that we start looking at. I don't know what his contract situation. Daniel, I know you are on there if you happen to see it right next to you. I don't know what his contract situation is, but he's definitely looking like somebody that you might want to keep around here a little bit longer.
Yeah, he definitely broke out today. I think this was his best defensive performance other than, the Seahawks game. Week 2, he had that critical fourth quarter sack. But today, he, impacting the pass defense, of course, with the INT, was consistently in the backfield. So he was just a disruptor all along, man, all over up and down that field. So, yeah, it was good to see Lorenzo Carter do that, man.
I think Sheehan just brought up, saying Huntley could have had 100+, but coach took him out for Algiers. Me and Shonda team Hunt. Oh, look, trust me.
Yeah.
I think a lot. Listen, in most sports, I think everybody roots for the underdog. Hence why everybody wants Ritter in there before Marcus Mariota. If CP was in here, we might not be having this conversation. But you must admit, if you're a Falcons fan, that this is what we're getting out of Huntley is just a bonus of I mean, I think everybody thought Algier would come through. nobody thought Huntley would even be on the team, and
No,
Huntley is eating, man. What's
definitely.
the? I mean, I don't know. I can't. I know this is the second time I asked about it, but dude, Huntley's just a different cat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you almost want to wonder when CP comes back, can we spell him some runs and let Big Huntley eat more
You
than
almost got
Algier?
to. You almost got to. You almost got to. I think you elevate Huntley to number one, and keep CP at that 2 to 3 border, because CP coming off that knee injury. Hey, we don't know. He steps on the field, has a couple runs, that knee might flare up again. It's one of those things that we don't know. But going forward, Huntley should be the feature back, bar none. I think
Right.
he's. I think he's ran enough to stake that claim and say, okay, I'm the guy here, and let these guys, Patterson and Algier, as weird as it may sound, be the role players to that running back by committee field.
I got a question for you from RJ. RJ says, Unc, you think we're gonna make any trades by the deadline on Tuesday? What's your
Great
thoughts
question.
on possibly upgrading? There was a thought to me when you start seeing how the secondary start going down, and especially not knowing exactly what Hayward's situation is going
Mm-hmm.
forward. It kind of sounds like AJ just might be battling a little bit of hamstring here and there during the year. But do we look to the waiver wire or look for a trade to possibly come in here and bolster up this secondary?
I would say absolutely 100%, man. And two positions, and it was evident today. We need a defensive tackle, another nose tackle.
Yeah,
We
that's true.
and, and we definitely need secondary help, another corner. Like you mentioned, the Casey Hayward situation. We don't know how long. I know Coach had mentioned to us that it's going to be a season-long thing. So that right there is a red flag. So it's almost like, okay, don't expect him to come back. We got to fill that position now. And do we feel comfortable going ahead with Darren Hall or Cornell Armstrong? I would I would say no. You know what I mean? I would say no. We have to keep that pedigree at that position up.
Yeah.
And going into this stretch now where the matchups are starting to become a little bit more favorable, we
Yes.
need to stay in contention, and that defense has to stay up to par in order to contend with these folks coming in. So I would say yes to a
Arguably
trade.
the second best quarterback we've seen. This will be the second best quarterback, I think, in Justin Herbert, in my
Oh
opinion,
man,
that
yes.
we've seen. I think Joe Burrow, to me, Joe Burrow is the first. Uh, Herbert is not going to be like PJ Walker. Trust me.
No.
He's going to be throwing the balls on point. So,
Yeah.
I love the thoughts you were talking about there. Julie is in the house. Julie says she's exhausted.
Man.
That Julie, I'm trying to tell you, if you want to see grown men sweat during the game today, it's got to the right of me.
Oh man.
How many times can you move in one space? And just,
Man, I feel bad for that little piece of glass that was there, because I was holding that, and I know I had imprint of that glass. I'm like, damn it.
but it's look, it all beautiful when we win. So
Yeah,
we'll take it.
definitely.
Sean says we gonna rise up. ATL that rise up. I hear
That's a
you,
fact.
brother. I hear you.
Let's go.
My sisters in the house, Brigida said, left my seat when we were up. Shame on you. Down the escalator, we were tired going into overtime. Shout out to the people streaming and holding the phone up, and H.E. Holmes for everybody and cool echoing down the steps. I am tired. I'm a Falcons fan. Let me tell you something. I'm not even gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna take credit for it, because we start hollering Cool's name right after Mariota made that run.
I think we was all about get him in, let him end this darn game, and let's carry on with our day, man. Because we know that's gonna be clutch. That's gonna be a gimme 3 points right there, man.
Man, I mean, when you start talking about, cool and calm under the situation, you just saw your guy from Carolina missed two, and the pressure for you to hit that field goal coming up, and I mean, he split it dead down the middle.
Right down.
speak about Young Wei Koo, man. I mean, we don't think about field goal kickers until they miss.
That's
But
true.
but let's talk about what he's meant being so automatic when we need him. There have been
Absolutely.
few times, with the exception, the only time I can think of is the Kansas City game when he
Yeah,
missed a clutch field goal. But really, he's pretty clutch, dude.
man. He goes right in the line of the great history of kickers this organization has, from Morton Anderson to Jason Elam, uh, Jesus, Matthew Bryant,
Yeah,
another
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Young Wei Koo is going to be mentioned under that same breath once it's all said and done.
I
You
think
talk
so.
about clutch, like you mentioned. I mean, I think this was a guy that was 10 for 10 last year, around the 50-yard range.
Yeah.
And fast forward to this year, he's just continuing his phenomenal stretch. I'm glad that he's in Atlanta, and I'm glad that he was making kicks for us when it counted. I hate to be that other guy.
And look, and think about it. You get that notoriety when you're on a winning team. Justin
True.
Tucker has been doing this for years and years because Baltimore has been winning. Once
Right.
we start getting the reputation of winning, then maybe we'll start,
Yeah.
he'll start getting his due. But Youngway is a bad boy, man.
Yeah, he is.
Blizzard Mike is watching this on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Said, "Ha
Yeah.
Panthers suck. Go Falcons." I
Oh
love it.
man.
I
Oh
love it. I
man.
love it. I love it. Go ahead. What did you say?
And let it be known, man. There was a Carolina Panther presence in that dome. Well, in the bench. I keep saying the dome for what? Why?
No,
The
hey,
fans, man.
hey, it's a dome. It is a
It is.
dome.
It is. I just got a thing for the Georgia Dome, man. I do.
Yeah,
But there was a presence of Carolina fans there, man, and they showed
yeah,
out.
yeah.
They made noise when it counted, but just not enough, man. Because
Not enough, brother. That's what it says.
no,
Chuck says, I don't need the peaks and valleys. Give me consistency, good or bad. Making my dang nerves bad. Here's the thing I say about that, though. And say what you want to say. Let's keep it real and let's keep it 100. If I had a dime for every person that said this was going to be a reclamation project, worst team in the league, things of that nature, when the season started, I would be a rich guy. And now we're building that consistency. I want to say consistency. We're building up, we're putting equity in these close games. These close games, we're winning more of them now than when we were losing. We've got to. We've got to.
yeah.
So
Just think of this. You see what happens when you involve a Drake London. You see what happens when you involve a Kyle Pitts. Which, if it hasn't been mentioned, this was Kyle Pitts' maybe breakout game, 5 for 80, and
right.
a touchdown. The kid ran with authority today. On that one play where he caught the swing pass, he refused to go out of bounds. Man, he continued to drive and really wanted to get to the end zone. But when you involve so many parts that this offense has,
Mhm.
that's how consistency could be had. I think three different positions scored touchdowns today: running backs, tight end, wide receiver. Algier, Bird, and Pitts. That's a recipe for success. We already know what we got with Caleb Huntley, and Tyler Algier. When we bring in a Cordero Patterson, this might be an offense to watch out for, man. Again, and goes as long as Mariota maintains that game management performances that he's had. He can't do anything more than what he has been doing because he's not that guy. Just continue to just be that clock and game manager, and I think we'll be all right going forward.
Yeah, you know, I'm at a point, and I know we'll break it down during the week. I know you and Smitty, uh, you know, are those kind of guys that break down everything, the good and bad after it's over
Yeah,
with. The first 24 hours afterwards, man, I promise you, I'm kind of more celebrating the win.
yeah,
So we trust me, folks. Don't think we're not paying attention. We are paying attention, but I'm just trying to, uh, enjoy the moment today.
Man.
We got to enjoy that moment, man. Too many times we've been on the other side and we haven't had an opportunity. Gats Boy says CP is the splash. Jonathan says, yo, what's up, Big Unc? I'm just getting back to Augusta from the game. The vibe here is fire. Brother, if you were there, like I said, we were there.
Wow, man.
And I was talking about how we take for granted how much this building hasn't had that electricity of the Georgia Dome. But I will say, during those fourth downs, even though a couple of them we didn't stop, not fourth downs, third downs, we didn't stop, the crowd clearly got very into it. And I love that. That was really nice. Everybody was kind of, jumping into it and stuff like that. So I love the atmosphere. What do you think about how the fans showed up today?
Man, I love it. They brought their A game, man, for sure, to represent the A. It was electric. It was loud. It was amazing, man. And I know that the players were feeding off of that energy, man. They wanted to get this win for the fans, more importantly, because the fight was there.
I mean, the fight was truly there. Millie Mills in the house say, that boy Armstrong got that dog in him. We just got to groom it more. Bull plays with heart, and I love it. And it was easy to try to pick on him because they did try to pick on him.
They did.
And for the most part, he held his own. What's your thoughts on Conrad Armstrong and his overall performance coming into the game, basically?
Hey,
the practice squad guy.
He had a decent game. You know what I mean? When you're coming off a performance like you had against Jamar Chase and that trio over there in Cincy, fast forward to what DJ Moore is. DJ Moore is a good receiver. He's a hard guy to handle, hard guy to press. Armstrong stood good to the test. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned, they did test him a couple times, and he has some batted balls and of course he gave up some plays, but I guess that's what happens, when you're not, used to that week in and week out, you're gonna give some up. But overall, he did pretty good, man.
Right. Coming back over here, Joseph says Mick Luckhurst and Jay Feely. You left out. He was putting some more kickers on the list for you. Awesome. This beautiful lady here, my wife, has jumped on and added her, saying, I have a clip when the Carolina kicker missed the first kick. You two look like toddlers on Christmas.
I need that.
Okay, we got. All right, you gotta let us see it before we give it to have public disbursement of that.
Oh man, hey man. That's a good one. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like, man. I mean, the air was kind of, just sucked right out of us. I'm like, oh man.
Oh man.
But to speak on that play, man, what was the defense thinking? First of all, you had the responsibility once that went deep was Rashaan Evans. And
he has no business back there in the back. I don't understand why you're. You should have, if anything, had three folks back there behind him at that time.
Yeah, or something, man. Switch up the call, the defensive call. At that point, you know what I mean? There was 20, 30 seconds left.
Right. No, less than that. Remember, it was like 12 at the end.
Yeah, at the end, yeah. So, I mean, they're going to try to do some Hail Mary type stuff. So why would you even put your linebacker out on the island like that, that really can't cover?
It was shades of Georgia losing that game to Alabama on that Tua call where he just tossed it up and PJ said, I got nothing to lose. Yeah. And give PJ credit. I mean, DJ Moore credit for catching the ball and thanking him for losing his mind. After the play. Toya is in the house. How you doing, Toya? She said, I just love the fight. And even when mistakes were made, they didn't drown in their sorrows. They kept fighting. It's a team game. They have each other's back. And that is so important. We as fans go through think about the emotions that we go through up and down on the field. They can't afford to do that. The players have to stay in the moment. Think of, again, Mariota throws that interception, right? If he goes on the sideline and start crying and say, I blew the game, you know, it's all over with. But he not only did he stay in the game, he arguably, to me, that was the second best drive of the game by him and being able to march down the field. Speak on Mariota being able to throw that to the back and concentrate on getting his team down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for more reasons too, you know, knowing that the division lead's at stake, you know, and that facing that pressure, I think he did a phenomenal job just, you know, honing in his emotions, because at any point he could have just threw his hands up like, man, this shit ain't working. But no, he didn't, you know. He stood there, he fought. And speaking of having an infectious thing, you know, had he gone on the sideline and just was drowning in his sorrows, the team's going to feel that. And that's pressure on them to try and bring him up when they shouldn't really have to. That's his job. He's the quarterback. He's the leader, natural leader of the team. So for him to just, you know, keep his head up and just keep going, that was awesome, man. And shout out to him. And happy birthday to Mariota too, man.
Oh, man. His birthday. Happy birthday to him, man. That is, I'm trying to tell you, man, that awesome. Just an awesome game from him, man. Awesome game by everybody being able to come back and doing what they did. It was just awesome. Coming back here, I don't know who this is. Talking about, I passed out 2 times in this game. Oh, that's Eric Tate. Eric Tate said, I think I passed out about 2 times in this game. Obviously, you got up, brother, so they good that you thought it in. Brandon says Evans can't be in the game on Hail Marys. Great point. I was just saying that, man. Just you know. Clayton said on the missed field goal, I jumped up like I did when Georgia intercepted Alabama. That was a very, you know, good thing. I don't know. That was awesome, man. That was just awesome. Hold on, I'm trying to get to this other thing. Tavares Raven says, good game, Panthers, but this is a different Falcons animal. Rise up. And think about it, man.
Sure.
As Daniel been pointed out, we got them back in 11 days. It's, you know, we can celebrate now. We got to go to their place. And trust me, they're going to be ready for us. Yeah. They're going to be ready for us. Joseph Evans says they could put the big receivers into play safety. You know, they used to do that with Julio quite a bit. Remember that? Remember those games? Yeah. They would throw Julio back there in the back. They used to do that all the time. So, different coaching regime, different folks. So, who knows? Hold on, let me get this. It says, I think Eric says, I think the play calling was not good. There were a couple of times that you could question some of the play calling earlier. What moments do you remember more, Alberto, about some calls? I mean, some play calling that was a little suspect for most of the time. Where did you see where we could have made some changes?
Well, let me see. I mean, one thing that I would change is the pre-snap motion. I think, you know, sending Olamide Zaccheaus so much where it's going to look like an end around. That needs to stop. I mean, let that be, you know, only on certain times. It felt like he was doing that all game, but that's just to that. To answer the question, you know, I can't really point to one, man. I was lost in it, man.
Hold on. What he tried to say is we were so invested in how in a close game. It's hard. I know both of us will look back on the game and we'll both, you know, dissect it and figure it out. So trust me, I was trying to put you on the spot because I probably couldn't answer the question. That's why I gladly gave it to you. So I
had to make something of it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna criticize that Olamide Zaccheaus thing, but to be honest with you, man, for that, man.
3:30 in the house. What's going on, man? Said great run by Mariota, clutch. Absolutely, it was
very clutch.
Give him all the credit in the world. I apologize. I'm trying to get back to y'all's comments. I can't get back to them. Oh, what just happened? Okay, here we go. I can't see who's sending this, but on the game-winning field goal, it was 3rd and 9. I think we should have ran another time to get close to the end zone and kicked it instead of having Koo make a 41-yard. There was something to be said about that, but you know what? Koo has been so, in those moments, he's been so clutch. I'm trying to think, has there been a last second end of the game moment that he's missed? I don't think he has. Again, I think that Kansas City game was a game that could have put it away. And Kansas City came right back down and won the game. But I mean, dude, you got one of the top clutch kickers in the league. So, I mean, I think. What do you think about that? Would you have tried something?
I got so much faith in him, man. Yeah, I mean, I see that, this person's point, get it a little bit closer, of course, to ensure it. But the way he's been kicking all game, you just got to rely on that. The guy, he's too money. I go with that, man.
Thea D brings up a good point. Cordero comes back next week. So that, I mean, think about what we've been getting from Huntley and Algier, which has been great. But boy, it's going to be nice to see Cordero coming back into this offense and giving us a boost coming in. I can't wait to see how he's going to mesh with us going forward.
Right, me too.
Daniel, I apologize. I gave you Michael Walker's contract numbers. He's here through 2023, making an average of $1 million. Wow, $1 million a year. Thank you, Daniel, and I appreciate that. I know you always looking out for me on that. Yeah, Michael Walker. You know what? You gave me Michael Walker's. I was looking for Lorenzo Carter. See if you can see. I apologize, Daniel. And I saw you with Mike. We were talking about Lorenzo on there. Joseph says the big bombs to small receivers continuously. Yeah, that was something that was a little bit concerning when you start thinking about that. Look, hopefully now that we have opened up the field Mariota playing. I mean, let's think about that. The last 2 weeks, what has been the complaint? You can't win a game only throwing the ball 13 times. He put it up 28 times, folks. And when you put it up 28 times, the chances of you throwing interceptions becomes more of a risk when you do that. So what's your thought of Marcus Mariota becoming Air Mariota today?
I like that. He has to, because all year he's shown that, the inability to push the ball down the field. So it's good to see him do that. Interceptions are going to come with it. You know what I mean? We can't ask for him to throw a perfect game, so to say. So, even at those, I'll accept them. As long as they're not in crucial situations, then that's about it. But seeing Mariota toss the ball around, man, it's encouraging. Does it show any more faith in that Arthur Smith is gaining in him? Maybe because that playbook is opening up a little bit. I'm seeing different plays being thrown out there. So it could be, that he's gaining trust in Mariota. Well, only time will tell, and let's see what transpires in these next couple of weeks with some of these favorable matchups that we got coming up. Is he gonna really open it up and say, Mariota, all right, you know what? You're the commander. Go ahead, let loose. Show me what you got.
And what a great game to do it in, because the Carolina defense played good. They had there was some nice plays, but hey, we did better. David says we didn't blitz enough to help this depleted secondary. I think that was true. That was absolutely true. Daniel brings up a good point when he was actually kind of countering what the other guy said about trying to run the ball down. He said you could kick it on third down just in case the snap is messed up or something doesn't go as planned, so you get another chance at it. I actually stared. Remember, I did say that one time. I thought at third down we were going to do it. I think what bothers me is if you run it on third down, that's one more opportunity for you to fumble the ball. That's the only thing that kind of goes through my mind. I would love to have gotten a little closer, but again, you got the little guy from Carolina. His his head was shot. Cool, nah,
Yeah.
nah.
Nah, he was cool, calm, and under control, man. He was cool under the pressure, man.
This is the interesting one right here. Clayton says the interception's really not on Mariota. Both times the defender played wide receiver and outplayed our wide receiver.
That I
Um,
can agree with.
yeah,
That
yeah,
first one,
yeah.
that first one, Dante Jackson had better positioning for that
Right,
one.
right. Yeah, and but let me ask you a question. Does that mean Mario did Mario? I mean, just like we were talking about very early on, Mariota was kind of throwing the ball behind guys a little bit
Mm,
in this particular game. That first one, even though I know he said the defender outplayed him, man, if that ball would have been out towards the center, because it was 1-on-1, it wasn't like you had
yeah,
safety help at that point.
right.
I think if he would have thrown the ball kind of down the center, you kind of had a chance to shield the defender. I think when you
True.
throw right into the receiver, there's something there that just says you kind of give it more of a up for grabs kind of feel. Am I off on that?
No, I think you're right on, and to even piggyback even more on what you just said on that, when you have such a perfectly thrown ball, and I shouldn't say perfectly, but a throw that's spot on, defender with defender, you kind of hope for a PI as well, so for pass interference call on that too. So I don't know. We don't know what Mariota sees in those situations. So
True.
I guess he just heaves it to what he sees.
Yeah, that's true. At least he got the ball down the field. Joseph said
Yeah.
couldn't chance a fumble. You're absolute when he was talking
Yep.
about why not try to go down a little bit more. I
Right.
I agree 100%. The more opportunities you get when you throw that ball, the more you know you risk the chance of turnover. I keep thinking about that game last year. Do you remember Alberto when we played New Orleans and CP catches the ball and goes
Yes, on the
down the
sideline.
sideline?
Yeah.
The very first play of that drive, um, I can't even remember what his name is, just like Mike Davis. Mike
Yep.
Davis fumbles the ball
He does.
on
Yep.
the first play.
I
And
think it was on the left hash mark. He fumbled it,
yes,
and
sir.
Cam Jordan recovered it.
And,
I
and
remember.
he fumbled the ball. And so my thing is, I'm not trying to compare the running backs we have now, but that was, I don't know. I think I agree with that 100%. I'm gonna take these last couple of ones right here, and then I'm gonna break out here and go up here and uh, get off here by 8 o'clock so we can watch. And I know you got to get rolling here in a second,
Yeah.
in a little bit too.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but dude, overall, man, talk to me. Talk to me about your feeling overall about the game and the Chargers coming to town. What are your thoughts about how you feeling going into that game?
Chargers. I'll start with the Chargers.
Mhm.
Perfect opportunity to stake our claim even more with the NFC South lead. The Chargers, as a lot of people know, are banged up significantly. J.C. Jackson's out. Uh, Bosa's out. That interior is not really meshing. Is not really playing to their capability. I don't have their sack numbers right now, but I will when we do the preview show on Tuesday. Myself and Smitty. Um, Khalil Mack is not that guy that a lot of people, thought he was. He's not playing to that Pro Bowl capabilities that he was. They do have a good secondary, but here's an opportunity for Atlanta to just reestablish the run game so much more. And I say reestablish because we're getting CP back.
Right.
And that's a way to reestablish what we had going on, what was working so efficiently for us and effectively the first couple games. I feel good about the game. I like the matchup. It might sound biased, but I'm going to stick with the Falcons' victory. It's at home. I know that the crowd's going to be jumping, and those players are going to be feeding off of that atmosphere, man. Um, What was the first part? The other part.
You know what? I almost forgot what the first part was. So
I got you. No, I got you. The overall feeling and taking the game, it was
right.
unbelievable. And I encourage anybody that hasn't been to a home game to please go. Just please go, man. Be a part of that experience. Be a part of that fan base. It is Southern hospitality to its finest, man. And I was honored to be a part of that with everybody, not just you, with just you, their everybody else, man. It was it was amazing, man. It was amazing.
It was a family atmosphere. It was a
Sure.
Falcon 100% pro. We enjoyed having you in there, brother. And again, I'm sure we're gonna do it in the future.
Yes,
If I got to come up there and drag Smitty with me and come up there and look, maybe we'll play the Patriots up there. And we got to get you to drive close by or something. But we'll figure it out. I see you, Wallace. I see you, Jonas. I see you, Ricky. Y'all jumping in, man. We getting ready to break out up here. Me and Alberto been at it all morning. We hung out and brother getting old, so I got to get some rest. So, but look again, brother. Safe travels to you, man. And enjoyed it. Glad to have you down. For everybody else, great win. I'll be on tomorrow for the aftermath. I'm thinking 6 o'clock. If it changes, I'll let you know. But I'll be on for the aftermath tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Thank everybody for hanging around, man. Bocho, you and your brother be good. Safe travels. Everybody else, peace. Falcons win. Falcons win.
Yes, Later,
y'all be good, man. Everybody be good.